Welcome to the Scouters and guests to the 111th annual meeting of our council. For those of you joining us from home virtually, please keep your microphone muted at all times except during the voting period. We have several helpers who will be monitoring the chat and muting people who accidentally become unmuted. We suggest that you pin or make Zoom full screen to make sure that you can best see the presenters and the slideshow. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and prayer. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let us pray. Dear God and Creator, thank you for assembling these good people here today, whether in person or from remote locations, in fellowship and service to their communities and to the children who live in them everywhere. We are all united by the Scout Oath and Law, and we seek nothing more than to continue sharing these values with every young person possible. Scouting does prepare us for life. Your guidance and care for our mission and for life itself is prayerfully requested. Amen.
You may be seated. Oh.
Good afternoon and welcome. I am Lauren Verwig from Troop 5384 in Richfield.
And I am Bill Cottola with Troop 9419 in New Brighton. It is our pleasure to be here with you today as Master of Ceremonies for our 111th annual meeting. Before we start the program, we just want to ask to turn off cell phones just so that we don't have any accidents during the ceremony to interrupt the ceremony. Thank you.
Also, before we begin, Bill and I have been asked to reflect upon what it means to us and perhaps to you to be a part of Northern Star Scouting's first ever council level hybrid meeting in over a year. With the advances in communications and technology over this past year, we may see hybrid meetings more often in the future, and for everyone that attends virtually, we have to think that they would like to be present physically if they could.
Yeah, so I know that recently they've loosened the restrictions a lot that we could have an in-person gathering, and it's just meant a lot to me to be able to see people that I haven't seen in a very long time, and remember that there are still other scouts out there who love scouting just as much as I do and willing to come out to an in-person meeting. It's really meant a lot to me just to get to see people again.
Yeah, my troop personally has had a lot of online meetings over the past over a year, and we've been able to keep things going, but it's definitely going to be helpful being able to see everybody in person again, and I'm very glad to see all of you here today, and thank you for those of you that are attending virtually as well. Hopefully we'll all be able to be in person again soon.
So if you are a newcomer to the council annual meetings, you should know that today we will reflect upon 2020 accomplishments, and more importantly, we will look towards the future by recognizing Eagle Scout scholarship recipients, observing installation of new members and officers, and focus on thoughts about what is most important to scouting as we move forward with bold plans for tomorrow. There are several people who would like to briefly introduce their past roles in preparing children to be leaders for life. Other special leaders will be introduced when it is time in their part of the program. Would you please hold your applause until all the introductions are complete and everyone is standing? A reminder for all, some of our honorees are in the room today, but some of them are attending virtually.
First, honorary life members Barb Harmon, past council president, distinguished community builder, and scoutmaster of philanthropy, Chuck Dietz. Past council president, Silver Buffalo, distinguished eagle, and scoutmaster of philanthropy, Steve Weeks. Silver Buffalo recipients, Dan Segerson and Scott Beckett. Scoutmaster of philanthropy, Wes Laseski, Chip Chapin, Paul Johnson, Lynn Swan, and Richard Sitt. Past council presidents, Alan Burnett, Phil Johnson, Paul Taylor, Bill Brody, Richard Newer. Past Council President and Scoutmaster of Philanthropy, John Theobald. Past Council President and Distinguished Citizen Award recipient, Greg Page. Please join me in saluting all of these leaders.
For the next portion of the meeting, Lauren and I are very pleased to welcome Council Commissioner David Cousins, because the first two recognitions today are actually for Lauren and myself.
We'll go right here.
Make sure people can see you. Good afternoon, and wow, this is almost like normal, except everybody seems to have aged a year or two. I'm honored to participate in today's presentation of scholarships to two outstanding scouts who, yes, you have already met, so we'll get to watch them as we go through a description of all that they have accomplished, at least in the last few months. Thank you, John. The Eagle Scout Scholarship Program recognizes scouts who have displayed extraordinary achievement in academics, athletics, scouting, and overall service to their community. In 2020, Northern Star Council troops and crews produced 611 Eagle Scouts. Now, this is 100 fewer than earned in 2019, but it's remarkable given the difficulties that any scout would face in completing the requirements in COVID conditions. 112 of those Eagles applied for scholarships, and 22 were awarded. This scholarship program has awarded more than $500,000 since its inception in 1990 at a grand Eagle Scout reunion chaired by Judge John Goffman. More later, I guess. Today, we will recognize 2 of the 22 Eagle Scout scholarship recipients. The remaining recipients are being recognized at several other events and meetings. All of these scouts have done some truly outstanding things, far too long to list. So we asked these their favorite memory of scouting and school, along with details of their Eagle project, and also to share something else that's unique about them with you today. So our first recipient is Horan Verwig. Horan is a member of Troop 384, chartered to Woodlake Lutheran Church. She was a finalist for the Eagle Scout of the Year and will receive $4,000 in college scholarships. In the units she is involved in, Lauren has held several leadership positions, including Assistant Senior Patrol Leader, Den Chief, OA Representative, Patrol Leader, Senior Patrol Leader, Troop Guide, Venturing President, and Venturing Vice President. She is a Brotherhood member of the Order of the Arrow and has served as Chapter and Lodge Officer. She worked on Gray Wolf staff and went to the most recent National Jamboree. Her favorite memory of scouting was the 2018 Summit Adventure Leadership Training in West Virginia with her crew. A senior at Rogers High School, Lauren scored a 31 on her ACT, which is 95th percentile, and she has a 3.84 grade point average. She is active in band, drama, theater, National Honor Society, student government, and Phi Theta Kappa. She also was on the high school swimming and diving team, where she was captain and made top 16 in her state. In her spare time, no spare time. Lauren's Eagle project was to design and build a butterfly garden for her community in a neighborhood park. She selected this project because it improves the lives of those around her and it preserves the environment. A unique thing about Lauren is she went to school in the Netherlands for 3 months. But just as unique is that Lauren has been awarded a Venturing Scholarship in addition to the Eagle Scout Scholarship from Northern Star Scouting, both this year. This fall, she will be attending St. Cloud State, studying mechanical engineering. Please, everybody, help me congratulate Lauren. Our second recipient today, you guessed it, is Bill Cottola. Bill was selected as Northern Star Council's Eagle Scout of the Year. This honor comes with a $5,000 scholarship. Bill is a member of Troop 9419, chartered to Trinity Lutheran Church in, in Lake Johanna in Arden Hills. As a member of the troop, he has held numerous positions, including Assistant Senior Patrol Leader, Den Chief, OA Representative, Patrol Leader, Quartermaster, Senior Patrol Leader, Troop Guide, and Scribe. It's your stuff. He is a Vigil Honor member of the Order of the Arrow and has been Chapter Chief. Bill's favorite scouting memory is doing the Scuba Live, now my notes say abroad, I think it's aboard, so it's sea base with all the friends he made with the troop. A senior at Mounds View High School, Bill earned a 35 on his ACT and is expected to graduate at the top of his class. Bill's been active in band, chess team, jazz band, and speech team. He's currently captain of the track team, and his favorite memory of school was playing in the state football tournament his junior year, a team where he was also captain. His Eagle project was painting a classroom and building a bookshelf for Maternity of Mary St. Andrew's School in St. Paul. A unique thing about Bill is that his first ever Tomahawk segment was for going to the storm shelter during a thunderstorm. Way to go, Bill. This fall, he plans to attend Bemidji State University, where he is planning to study pre-med. Please help me congratulate Bill. One more time, these guys have done a heck of a job, and I think they really represent us well. One more recognition that does not include Lauren and Bill is the National Eagle Scout Association's establishment of the Glenn A. and Melinda W. Adams National Eagle Scout Service Project of the Year Award, to recognize valuable service of an exceptional nature by an Eagle Scout candidate to a religious institution, a school, community, or other entity through the completion of the Eagle Scout project itself. Examples of projects that have been selected for the award in the past include projects that have benefited underprivileged children, recognized veterans, been international in nature, and have required significant time and resources. The selection of a local recipient is conducted through the Northern Star Council Eagle Scholarship Committee. The council committee selects a recipient for the respective council from the list of submitted nominations and then forwards a worthy candidate to the National Eagle Scout Association for regional consideration. The recipient of the 2020 Northern Star Scouting Eagle Project of the Year is Cooper William Auger from Troop 9414 in Columbus, Minnesota. Please come on up here, Cooper. You're in the spotlight. Cooper's Eagle Project was for capable partners. This local organization's mission is to provide hunting, fishing, and related opportunities to people with physical challenges. He decided to pursue this project because he enjoys the outdoors and believes that people of all abilities should have the same opportunities to enjoy these activities. For his project, he relocated a handicap accessible waterfowl hunting blind to a new and more desirable location in the Carlos Avery Wildlife Management Area near Forest Lake. After moving the structure, he and his troop built 32 platforms totaling 330 feet in length with railing to provide access to the blind by wheelchair. These traverse low wet spots and uneven terrain through marsh and brush on the path out to a new location of the blind in order to provide safe access. The blind provides an opportunity for a great hunting experience for the organization. Northern Star Scouting is proud to have selected Cooper's project as our Eagle Project of the Year. That project is currently before the Central Regions Selection Committee, and we are awaiting word if it will be chosen as the regional recipient. Congratulations to Cooper, and good luck at the regional level.
It is now my pleasure to introduce our council president, Carrie Bajoris, to lead us in several special recognitions.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. It's really exciting to see you all here in person. I'm still kind of giddy about the whole thing. So great to have you here. It's exciting to have several recognitions to present at this time, and I really am honored that I have the opportunity to do that. Since 1947, our council has recognized longtime Scouters and Friends of Scouting with a special category of membership known as Honorary or Honorary Life Member. We would like to introduce to you today 4 new honorary members who are nominated. This year, we're proud to welcome Linda Lee, Brent Martin, Jerry Oss, and Pat Riley to the ranks of those other esteemed honorary life members who are listed in your packet. Also, it's Linda's birthday, so I want to say a very happy birthday to you today, Linda. Linda was involved as a youth in Campfire and Horizon Club, and as an adult as a Girl Scout leader. She graduated from the College of St. Catherine with a BA in education and taught preschool for many years. Alongside her late husband, Jim, who served scouting in leadership roles including Cub Master, District Chair, Vice President Membership, Vice President Operations, Council Commissioner, and 33-year board member, Linda also enjoys enriching the lives of children. She served for many years as a volunteer, teaching reading and music to young people in a variety of settings. Jim and Linda also shared a passion for law enforcement scouting and for law enforcement exploring. The Alan G. Lee Memorial Law Enforcement Scholarship was established in 2005 in honor of Jim's father, who was killed in the line of duty. This scholarship recognizes young people dedicated to making a difference in our community through law enforcement service. They also established a private family foundation dedicated to supporting charitable organizations that serve arts and humanities, social justice issues, healthcare, youth, and education. Linda has said that she is happy that they've been able to get their children involved in philanthropy so that they can continue to support Jim and Linda's favorite nonprofits in the years to come. Let's join all in applause today to recognize Linda for receiving this award. Congratulations and happy birthday. Dr. Brent Martin comes from a longtime scouting family. His father, Leonard, joined Scouts in 1921. Leonard spent many summers as a camper, staff member, and eventually director of Camp Tonkawa on Lake Minnetonka, where he worked with Wint Hartman, Many Point Scout Camp's founder, and Maury Ostrander, Many Point's first camp director. Leonard was involved in the beginning of the Tonkawampus Lodge of the Order of the Arrow with George Wyckoff, and in 1933 was the first Vigil Honor recipient in the state of Minnesota. One of his proudest possessions was a BSA tie clip honoring his 40 years as a member of the organization. That year, 1961, he gave Brent a new Scout handbook, which he inscribed with his wishes that Brent have the same great experiences that he had long enjoyed in the BSA. And that wish came true, as Brent did. To say that scouting has played a big role in Brent's life is an understatement. Upon the passing of his father in 1961, it was a scouting family that essentially raised him as a family member and encouraged a life in scouting. Brent's years in scouting include earning the Eagle Scout rank, camping at Many Point, and serving on the Many Point staff from 1965 to 1969. In 1969, Brent met a camp nurse named Diane Moody. They were married in 1970. Diane was very active in Girl Scouting, as was her mother, and Diane was later a troop leader for their daughter Molly's Girl Scout troop. With the support and encouragement of both Diane and Molly, Brent was the first president of the Many Point Staff Alumni Association. The MPSAA is a group of like-minded current and past Many Point staffers dedicated to the support of Many Point Scout Camp, its staff, scouts, and scouters. The MPSAA has sponsored such projects as the Fire Tower, History Center, and various work parties at Many Point. Brent's journey in scouting started around 1957 as a member of Den 10 with Den Mother Mrs. Stanton. The fact that Brent remembers her name after 64 years is evidence and testimony to all of you about how much you affect youth through the work you do in Scouting. Congratulations, Brent. Jerry Oss has been registered as a Scout or Scouter since September 1957. He's been active in Pack 76 at Audubon School, Minneapolis, Troop 6 at Lutheran Church of the Good Shepherd, Minneapolis, and Troop 141 and Pack 141 at Elam Lutheran Church, Robbinsdale. These 63 years include 47 years as a Scoutmaster with 2 troops. He's currently a committee member of Troop 141, and he volunteers at Rum River Scout Camp and with Troop 39. Jerry and his wife Susan have been married for 48 years. They split their time now between their homes in Minneapolis and Mesa, Arizona. They're probably at Mesa during the summer and Minnesota during the winter, I'm guessing. They have 2 sons and 4 grandchildren. In 1967, upon graduating from Southwest High School in Minneapolis, Jerry started as a tool and die apprentice with American Machine and Tool Company, Minneapolis. Over the next 44 years, he continued working in the machining business, retiring as a production supervisor and maintenance supervisor with Sifco Custom Machining in 2011. For fun over the years, Jerry and Susan have traveled in all 50 states, usually towing a tent trailer or a travel trailer. In Arizona, he hikes with 2 senior hiking clubs, accumulating 10 miles or more a week from November through April. He also enjoys repairing almost anything, sharing his skills with family, friends, and neighbors. Please join me in congratulating him. Pat Riley was a Cub Scout, Boy Scout, and Explorer as a youth. He has been a Northern Star Council board member since 2005. He has served as a voting member of the National Council and has attended the national annual meetings for the last 15 years. He also served on the organizing committee for the Minnesota Palms Golf event in Naples, Florida. After graduating from the University of Minnesota Business School in 1968, Pat went to flight school and flew helicopters for the U.S. Army in Vietnam. When he returned from Vietnam, he resumed his employment at the Anderson Window Corporation. He is the retired Senior Vice President of Operations for Anderson. He has served as a board member of Anderson Windows, Aspen Research Corporation, and Renewal by Anderson. He was president of the Bayport Foundation, chair of the Minnesota Council on Economic Education, and served on the boards of Lakeview Hospital and First State Bank and Trust. Pat is a longtime Stillwater Rotarian, and he lives in Lakeland with Jean, his wife of 53 years. Please join me in congratulating Pat. We now make a very rare presentation of the National Duty to God Award to Bill Davies. The National Duty to God Award recognizes individuals who have demonstrated a history of exemplary and noteworthy service and leadership to faith, and a steadfast commitment to promoting religious duty in Scouting as an essential for guiding the moral, spiritual, and social development of youth. This award embodies the expressions of faith, fellowship, and service of the individual awardee, embracing the Boy Scouts of America's spiritual and religious foundation. Open to all faith traditions recognized by the Boy Scouts of America, this award distinguishes those who have looked beyond their own faith to perpetuate the legacy of a Scout's duty to God through extraordinary leadership and service to youth. Bill is a past national president of the Catholic Committee on Scouting and has given leadership to all levels of Catholic Scouting and in so many other ways for decades. Only 4 of these awards are presented every year nationwide, and Bill is the first recipient from Northern Star Council to receive this recognition. Thank you for your leadership and for your service, Bill. We would now like to present the International Scouters Award, which encourages Scouters to broaden their involvement in Scouting through participation in the World Scouting activities and recognizes Scouters for their contributions to the wider Scouting movement. Northern Star Scouting's International Committee has presented 25 Scouters with the International Scouters Award. Today we have the honor of presenting Northern Star Scouting's 26th International Scouters Award to Tom Baltudis. To earn this recognition, Tom has served as a member of the Council's International Committee for 3 years, served as a staff on the 2019 World Scout Jamboree, and actively works to promote support for the World Friendship Fund. In addition to this award, Tom is a Baden-Powell Fellow of the World Scout Foundation and a member of the Order of the Condor. Please join me in congratulating Tom Baltudis. Finally, we always take time at this annual gathering of the Scouting family to recognize that Scouting is indeed a way of life, good for life, and a lifelong endeavor for many, many people. We celebrate this with tenure awards, and we've done this since the earliest days of Scouting. This year, celebrating 65 years of registration in Scouting, please join me in thanking Bob Hanna for all the ways in which he keeps Scouting strong for all young people. Congratulations, Bob. Now to some required actions of this voting body. I hereby call the business meeting to order. And I would draw your attention to your meeting folder where you will find copies of 4 resolutions for your consideration. I would share that we do have a quorum, a minimum of 41 voting members present here today. Certainly more than 41. The first resolution is self-explanatory but does include updates to the list of active council committees. And the second, third, and fourth resolutions are required by the National Council, BSA, and the state of Minnesota in order for us to do business. Having described the proposed actions, unless there is a request that they be treated separately, I will ask that they be all approved together. Is there such a motion? Is there a second? Any questions about any of those resolutions? All right, well, I'm going to turn this microphone off, and I ask everybody else to unmute themselves who's participating online so you can vote.
Yea or nay?
Opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Brad Bakken, as Vice President for Governance, would you please come forward and present the election report?
Thank you, Carrie. Isn't W.C. Fields, wasn't he said you never follow babies or animals? So, but that's a mighty big hammer you gavel you. Yes. And as a Norwegian, I know your name is Bjorhus. So, thank you, Carrie. In your packet, you will find in the yellow sheets a slate of officers or slate of candidates, nominees for the coming year. So you can locate that. Hopefully you can locate your name in there also. These names are presented here today by the committee for your approval. Of 813 election surveys sent out, all received back were in support of this slate. The final slate was also approved by the Board of Directors. So, Madam President, I would ask for you for a motion to approve the slate. First is voting members at large, and then is assigned to cabinet, board, youth, honorary members, and honorary members as they appear in the report in the slate.
All right, I'm going to attempt to handle this microphone again. So, is there such a motion?
So moved. Second.
Oh, I already heard the second. Any questions or discussion? All right, all in favor, please say aye. All right, all opposed, same sign. motion passes. Thank you.
And as chair of the governance committee and de facto election committee, we just want to thank President Kerry for a great year in a very difficult year with many challenges, but thank you. And we'll hear about that more later, but thank you all.
It is indeed our pleasure, on behalf of all young people served by Northern Star Scouting, to install the leadership of the Council to govern until our 112th annual meeting. First, however, we would like to take the time to introduce those members of the members of the Board of Directors, President's Cabinet, including youth representatives, and members at large who are here today or online and have been elected to their positions for the very first time.
As I call your name, would you please stand in place and be recognized and remain standing for the oath of office? Olivia Naligan and Blake Parsons. Would all remaining officers, applause. Would all remaining officers, board members, President's Cabinet members, honorary members, and members at large, everyone whose name is found on the election results sheet in your packet, please also stand and raise your right hand in the Scout sign to receive the oath of office.
As elected leaders of Northern Star Council, Boy Scouts of America, do you promise to faithfully carry out the duties of your office in order that local youth might grow and develop in positive ways, so that they will be happy and confident, live by values based on democratic and faith-based principles, appreciate their relationships and responsibilities to others, and be prepared to assume their chosen responsible role in society? If so, answer, I do.
I do.
You are now installed. Be sure to grab a lapel pin off your table and put it on. Wear 2 of them so that you can give one to the next person you meet who asks why you're wearing 2 lapel pins. Congratulations, you may be seated.
We have a couple more recognitions to present. Would David Cousins please come forward? David has served as our council commissioner since 2017, and he will remain on the board as a director, but we want to take some time to thank him for his leadership in this very key and demanding officer role for the past 4 years, and on behalf of his work to reach all young people, especially those who need us the most. I also know personally how many hours David has put into his position over the last year, which has been unusual in so many ways, and he has given more and more each week as time has gone on, and I feel personally very grateful to him for that. Thank you for all that you've done and for all that you will do for young people through Scouting, David. Will John Theobald please come forward? Is John here? There he is. While he's walking up, let me tell you all about him. John Theobald has served in many roles in Scouting over many years, including in strategic planning, and for many years as chair of the investment committee. He's been a member of the board of directors since 1999, and this year has made the decision to step down. He will remain a member of the President's Cabinet. He's one of only 2 Scouters who have served as president of both the Legacy Council and of Northern Star Council. Thank you, John, for your service to children through Scouting. We also give thanks today to Commissioner Rafael Ortega, who is attending virtually. Rafael has been a member of our board of directors since 2013. He's been involved in several scouting committees and initiatives for scouting outreach in the former El Sol district, and he'll continue his volunteerism as a member of the President's Cabinet. Thank you, Raphael. Please join me in thanking him. We also have a memento for another person who's attending virtually today, Scott Beckett, who has served for the past 3 years as our Vice President of Program. Scott is a busy man, like all of you, also serving on the National Executive Board of the BSA, and he will remain on our board as a director. He has helped with lots of projects in our council in recent years, while also serving in such roles as chairman of programs for the World Jamboree in 2018. That's a big job. Thank you, Scott. Finally, we also recognize Chief Michael Goldstein, who is stepping down as Vice President of Exploring and Special Programs. He has served in this role for several years and is very active with law enforcement exploring. He will remain on the board as a director. Thank you, Mike. I also, at this time, would like to salute retiring district commissioners and district membership chairs. We have 8 scouters to recognize, and we'll deliver mementos to them in the near future. Does anyone have one of the mementos to show? I guess we'll find, if you're interested in seeing what it looks like, we'll find out. Suitable for framing. Yeah, suitable for framing, apparently. So I'd like to read the names of those receiving this award. For district commissioners, George Strickland, District L, David Murphy, District Q, and Jeff Crowley, District Q. District membership chairs are Trina Hilke, District E, Tim Jopek, District L, John Crabtree, District O, Adam Grau, District J, and Rachel Sweet, District N. Thank you, all of you, for your service as key leaders of Northern Star Scouting and for what you will continue to do and to provide as leaders in the future. And finally, we extend our gratitude to Brian Burnett, who was recruited as our council president-elect a year ago. He has been deeply involved in preparation for his role as a member of the Key 5 officer group, even following his relocation to Maryland and now Alabama, and he will remain on our board of directors. Brian is a past council president in Colorado, and he led our $1 Million Committee for the past several years very successfully. So thank you, Brian, for your ongoing service to Scouting. Thank you, all of you, for your service as key leaders of Northern Star Scouting and for what you will continue to provide as leaders in the future. And now, it is my duty and honor to take up this formidable gavel and present it to Judge John Goffman, who takes office today as the 9th president of Northern Star Scouting. John is an Eagle Scout and a lifelong Scouter with experience in so many different facets of our program. And as was stated earlier, Scouting is a family program and it's a way of life. He follows in the footsteps of many great leaders, including his own father, who served as a council president in one of our legacy councils in 1985 through 1987. Ladies and gentlemen, your council president, John Goffman. Congratulations. Yes.
This is bigger than any gavel I've ever handled, which makes me wonder how unruly you all will be. Before I say anything, a few words about Carrie Bjorhus. Carrie, every youth member of our council, every volunteer, and the organization as a whole benefited greatly from your inspirational leadership during your term as council president. No one could have dreamed of the challenges that we would face during your term. You brought us through these unprecedented challenges with calmness and wisdom, and it's the experience you brought with you from the corporations you've served. And for someone who's a trained executive in corporate communication, the timing could not have been better. It's comforting to know that in your role of past president, we'll still have access to that same calmness and wisdom. So thank you very much for your service. Don't go yet. We have... And I figured out a cheap way of getting Carrie 2 rounds of applause, because we have for her the emblem of Northern Star Scouting, a tradition since 2005, the past council president's ring or pendant, which is in that box. So, congratulations.
Thank you very much. I'd like to just say a few words if you don't mind. Thank you.
Go right ahead.
I want to thank you all very much for the honor and privilege of serving as your council president. It has been an unexpected and amazing 2 years, as John mentioned, but through it all the challenges we faced, I have been so impressed, and I have so much appreciation for all the dedication and commitment and passion that people have for this program and for this movement. People have given so much of their lives to help young people through this amazing program, and we will persevere. We have tough times to get through yet, but I have absolute confidence in the scouting movement and in the spirit that's so well exemplified by the people we talked about today. So thank you for giving me this opportunity, and I look forward to continuing to support John as he moves into this role.
Well, I feel fortunate to have the opportunity to lead Northern Star Council at any time, but particularly during the difficult times that we face today. Coming out of the worst of the COVID-19 pandemic, I hope, and a national bankruptcy. I want to do everything possible to reaffirm the role of scouting as a safe place for all youth and as the premier youth development in the country. I've worked with almost everyone in this room at one point in my adult career as in scouting, so I know that I can count on all of you to do your part to help make that happen. For my family, scouting is a tradition. Carrie already mentioned my father, who many of you, if not most of you, knew. He started in scouting in 1931 and served in just about everything. What most people don't know is that he was the oldest of 3 brothers, and all 3 of the Goffman boys were in scouting. And I brought with me today the Eagle badge that my Uncle Richard, who I never met, earned in 1940. So all 3 Goffman boys were in scouting. Their father was a scouting volunteer. So Richard Goffman, the middle brother, earned this badge in 1940. He served on the Camp Nibel camp staff in 1942. That same year, the council selected him and one other scout to join Charles Summers to present to Governor Harold Stassen Region 10's pledge of support for the World War II Civil Defense Campaign. Later that year, he joined the Army Air Force, where he was an officer flying missions over Europe. And unfortunately, in September of 1944, he was shot down and killed, and he's buried in Holland today. And that was about almost 10 years to the month before I was born. He lived the Scout oath and law in his daily life, and his brothers continued doing so for the rest of their lives. So I'd like to dedicate my term as president to the Goffman boys, in particular Richard Goffman. Let's do everything we can do to make sure that Northern Star Council continues its strong scouting tradition, and let's do everything we can do to make sure that all kids from all backgrounds can start their own scouting traditions. So I'm looking forward to this. And the program goes on. Picking up where we left off, we have many kinds of volunteers with us today. As many of you are aware, it does not require a uniform or even registration with the BSA to be a scouting volunteer if you aren't working directly with young people. It is my pleasure today to introduce you to such volunteer members of the creative team at CCF that conceived, developed, and produced our annual report. This is their 8th such project for our council, and our marketing committee thinks you'll be thrilled with the results once again. This year, however, their expertise is connected to a larger effort as we prepare for a major sales and marketing campaign in our communities. It's time to have a maximum effect as the National Council emerges from bankruptcy and as COVID and other external events coincide. How many other external events are there besides COVID, right? So, will Katie Eisner, Senior Account Manager, Dan Erickson, Senior Art Director, Abby Harrington, Account Coordinator, and Ian Simpson, Creative Director, please come to the podium. We'd like to ask you to tell us more about the story behind the 2020 report and share some of the council highlights that it features. Hello.
Hello.
Have the microphone.
All right. Let's hear it for President Guthman, yeah? Guthman and the Guthman boys. All right, let me find my place here. Hello, all. Well, what a year to do an annual report for. Well, we've had the honor of collaborating with Northern Star Scouting on this incredibly important initiative for almost a decade now. This one in particular has been quite the journey, because you see, 2020 happened.
Like many organizations, businesses, people, and everything everywhere, we noticed that Northern Star used this year in particular as an opportunity to evolve. From the innovative approaches taken to provide at-home camp-ins to the expansion of virtual den meetings that allowed an international participant from Puerto Rico, Scouting today really is more than 12 words. And that was our theme for this year's annual report.
Because yes, a scout is and will always be trustworthy, loyal, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. But a 2020 scout is also tenacious, innovative, adventurous, curious, imaginative, wild, focused, strong-willed, open-minded, caring, and anyone, anywhere. Those are the words on the opening thing. So you can now flip to the next page.
Throughout this report, you'll see an intentional combination of old and new imagery, honoring the past, but also looking ahead to all that the present and future are. Each of our opening spreads highlight some of the achievements of the past year, such as bringing adventure right into the living room.
Flip.
The never-ending pursuit of learning regardless of a uniform.
Flip.
And the continuous shifting of where, when, and who a scout can be. Flip.
Scouting is all about leadership, and the message from your key 3 on page 9, flip, expresses how leaders at all levels stepped up to adapt and change to keep scouting accessible and engaging for youth. Guided by your mission and vision, your efforts resulted in monumental successes in preparing young people for life. Even when life throws a worldwide pandemic your way, we'll stop telling you to flip now, but flip twice. But as you explore the rest of the report, we would like to share just some of the few highlights that we found so inspiring as we are bringing this to life. Such as the impacts that are represented on page 13 and 14 show the continued strength of your membership, and actually with 24,385 boys and girls, led by more than 9,500 volunteers. What's more, your distance learning academy served as an actual lifeline for so many families left without childcare options, providing care and education for kids from 16 different schools across 4 districts.
On page 15 and 16, you can see that your focus on diversity and inclusion continues to expand all people across the entire state. In fact, 15% of Cubs and 17.5% of BSA members are now made up of girls and young women. And your Huron after-school programs served almost 2,500 of our community's most disadvantaged youth through new methods of accessibility. This is a long one.
I know.
Then there's camping, obviously a core component of scouting. On pages 19 and 20, you can see that day camp participation actually grew by 26% as parents found a safe, welcoming place for their children and a moment of sanity for themselves. And with the introduction of virtual camps, a video game camp, and even reimagined traditional camping experiences that served more than 4,100 young people, not a single case of COVID-19 was seen as a result.
Now I've got a long part. Training and recognition, found on pages 21 and 22, are also essential for program delivery and success. And this year, that included nearly 100 adults completing Wood Badge, Scouting's highest advanced leadership course. It also saw 616 BSA members achieve the rank of Eagle Scout. I believe a couple of them are here today, including 9 young women in the inaugural class. And that number has actually grown to 19 in the time, and that trend is probably not going anywhere anytime soon. On page 23, program excellence really represents what drives and retains members, fulfilling your mission all along the way. This comes to life through 33,500 hours of community service logged, despite, the pandemic, and a variety of new approaches for programming and funding that were implemented, such as the Units First initiative and the Sustainable Scouting model. And on the communication front, the outstanding efforts of your youth members resulted in more than 220 journalistic stories across community publications and major media outlets, generating over 21 million impressions. All these results, obviously we're reviewing, require strong leadership and a great team, which you'll see detailed on pages 25 and 26, and I believe you'll also see them scattered throughout the room here.
And then there's the fun ding. On page 27, you'll see that despite a difficult year, you were able to raise almost $3 million through Friends of Scouting. In addition, $1.74 million was raised through popcorn sales, making Northern Star Scouting #1 in popcorn sales across the United States. A lot of this money went right back into our community, with over $104,000 offered in academic scholarships and $55,000 in camping scholarships, not to mention a new roadway at Fred C. Anderson Scout Camp and a new shower facility at Tomahawk Scout Reservations. Speaking of money, pages 29 and 30 show that despite all the financial challenges and setbacks of the last year, Northern Star ended the year in the black with a slight increase in net assets. And for the year we all just experienced, that's not just an achievement, it's a miracle.
Well, these many accomplishments are great to reflect on, but we all know you are a forward-facing organization, which is why we're also, as President Goffman alluded to, incredibly excited to be working with you on a major brand campaign that we're setting to launch during 2021. The plans are well underway, and we believed the impact will be something very special, because much like this report, it builds off the notion that scouting can provide to everyone, expands far beyond what the average person may perceive. That's a little spoiler alert for the brand campaign coming in 2021. So I just want to wrap up here and say thank you as always for inviting us here today, and for welcoming us into the Scouting family, and we wish you all the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We have a small token of appreciation to present to the team.
All right. All right, Dan and Ian, thank you for joining us today with your partners, Katie and Abby. Thanks for sharing your insights and your pro bono support of this critical marketing communications project. We got a taste of your creativity. I just flipped the page. So, thank you. For an annual update on our council's stewardship of endowment and long-term gifts, I'm pleased to call forward our Planned Giving Committee Chair, Dr. Stephen Lewis. Before he takes the microphone, I'd like to reflect for a few moments on where we are today and where we have come from on our path to the future. The annual stewardship report about long-term gifts is all about keeping promises, not just to the young people we serve, to whom we promise fun and adventure wrapped around experiential learning and life-sustaining values and skills, but to the donors who invested in that mission, and to the future donors we are asking to invest in this mission, and more specifically, in the Make Your Mark Estate Gifts campaign. We spoke about communication and brand strength and our $250,000 above and beyond sales and marketing campaign that we are preparing to conduct. We have briefed nearly everyone here multiple times over the past year about the difficulties that Scouting faces. Not just the same COVID challenges that the entire world is facing, but the existential threat of bankruptcy for the national organization and how that will or won't affect Northern Star, right down to the units and our families. So where are we today? We continue to believe with all our hearts that Northern Star Scouting is strong and is strong enough to navigate a constantly changing world and even these dramatic threats and responsibilities that come with the child sexual abuse claims from decades past. We are strong enough to do the right thing, not only for those adults who were members of our program when they were children, but for all children today and tomorrow. And we will know what actions we will take and what decisions our board of directors will make before the summer is over. Coming days and weeks will bring much more clarity than we've had in the past months and years. Specifically, there could be dramatic change for Northern Star Council and Northern Star Scouting and all councils. What will not change is that young people need things that Scouting and you provide for them, things that cannot be found anywhere else. We must have courage and faith, and we must keep our promise, and we will. Steve, can you tell us a little bit about our Legacy for Keeping Promises campaign?
Thanks, Your Honor, and thank you very much for being willing to step into the role you're going to hold for the next 2 years. During last year's pandemic, we learned once again that our ability as an organization to welcome all children into Scouting is based on preparedness and the ability to innovate. Despite the difficulties, we leveraged our financial strength to enable our staff and our thousands of volunteers to serve our youth. Relative to youth serving other peers locally and nationally, we did very well. At your table or in your mailed packet, you'll find the 2020 Endowment Report, Northern Star Council's annual update on the performance of both our total endowment and of many of the individual funds within the Northern Star Trust. Since the two councils consolidated in 2005, our endowment has grown by over 125%, while also providing increased annual support every year to our programs. I hope you'll read the report. It's a candid review of the results that come from a solid investment strategy and a prudent distribution of funds according to donors' wishes. A Scout is trustworthy and a Scout is thrifty. These are both good guides. On pages 6 to 11 of the report, you'll find many familiar names of Scouts and Scouters who have made commitments to support Northern Star Scouting in perpetuity. Soon the time will come to consider adding your name to the list of those who ensure Scouting remains strong well into the future. The 2020 distribution of $1.9 million from the endowment supported local camps, outreach efforts, financial assistance, and life-changing programs. As you can see from the report, the endowment also had a net gain of $5.9 million, ending the year at $48.2 million. I hope we can all be a little bit proud, in a modest Minnesota sort of way, of our combined efforts to ensure that Northern Star Scouting will serve children for decades to come. Page 12 outlines the impact an endowment can have on an organization. I think about it in pretty simple terms. An endowment provides a base of stable funding, the flexibility to innovate and meet new challenges and opportunities, and it's an insurance policy that protects Scouting's programs should we hit very rough waters, as has happened many times since 1910. Over the next 4 years, under the leadership of co-chairs Mike and Ann Hall, the Make Your Mark campaign for estate gifts with a goal of $35 million will increase our endowment substantially. The success of the campaign will build on Northern Star Scouting's vision as a positive influence in the lives of all young people, including those not in Scouting and including those not yet born. Your participation will help further our mission to prepare young people to be persons of strong character as well as our future leaders. The Make Your Mark campaign is based on planned gifts or gifts from estates, not cash today. The $35 million goal is realistic. It's not just aspirational. We can do this. To date, the campaign has secured over $12 million, including a remarkable gift of nearly $1 million from the estate of Hugh Schilling. While the Make Your Mark campaign will certainly receive more large gifts, the bulk of support will come from Scouters who understand the value of Scouting and who therefore will designate gifts of all sizes to the Northern Star Trust in their estate plans. You can add your name to the honor roll and show your passion for Scouting's future by contacting John Andrews or Jenny Hedall or Mark Majors, all of whom are here today. John Goffman, our judge, said earlier, young people need the things that Scouting will help, with your help, provides them. Each of us has an opportunity to make our mark, to secure Northern Star Scouting's future forever. Please join me in this important effort. Thank you.
Turned a lot of pages. All right. At this point, we're almost ready to wrap up the meeting. We've all had a few things to say about the future of this council, the future that you are all going to help maintain its brightness. And we do have a closing highlights video that we would like to show you that sums up the year. And there were a lot of highlights. Don't let anyone fool you into thinking that 2020 didn't have highlights. There were plenty of highlights, and a lot of people accomplished a lot of things. We heard from two of them at the top of the meeting, our two Eagle Scouts. So thank you, Scouters. Please enjoy this video summary of our 2020 annual report. Once that video is over, we are adjourned. Be safe and keep scouting.
Everything that this award, this organization speaks to, really speaks to the importance of mentoring youth and how taking care of, the youth, our next generation, and giving them the skills and tools that they need to be successful is so important. For me personally, a lot of that importance comes from underserved youth, inner city kids, kids of color, all who the Boy Scouts welcome and help mentor.
Changed much. We've seen a lot of change in the last couple of months, a lot of different stuff going on, and Ready Point is a place that is just like a constant, just like home for a lot of these scouts. And we're able to give scouts that again, which I think is really important right now.
Definitely transformed. And Scouting is and will be right here to help meet every need and to serve every youth in our community and keep them safe while doing it.